How's it going, everyone? Matt, Leighton, Shawn, Battle. Welcome back to another real estate video. Hey guys, in today's video, it's gonna be about the buyer's agent, the person that is representing the best interest of the person buying hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of real estate. Wow, that sounds like a lot of risk there.
Sounds like a ton of risk.
Sounds like a ton of risk.
Why would we be talking about the buyer's representation today?
Shawn, how's your Thursday going?
My Thursday's good. Busy. Not crazy busy because things are flying off the shelf, but it's good to be busy. It's good to be in the spring market. How about you?
Good. Yeah, I was talking with you and another agent in our office, and they said it was busy, but it was like everything's under contract busy, getting all that busy work done, as opposed to everything on the market, doing all of that.
Usually, you're busy with listings and you have multiple listings at the same time and you're dealing with showings and things like that for a couple of weeks. Now, everything is just going so quickly that you don't have that follow-up and you don't have that constant multiple listings out there at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's a little easier to manage. Yeah.
So I'm curious, you've done a lot of listings recently, haven't you?
I did, yeah, sure.
So on the last 5 listings, was there a buyer agent on the other end of that?
Last 5 listings,
just off the top of your head?
Every single one there was a buyer agent, and on every single contract, except one, there was a buyer agent representing the buyer.
Okay.
That's their job, right?
Okay. Yeah. So the reason that we're talking about this is an article came out on Inman recently, which is basically a real estate magazine publication, online publication, about Redfin releasing some sort of hybrid new program where basically you don't need to purchase a home with a buyer's agent. And by the way, you don't need to purchase, it's not mandatory to have a buyer's agent to purchase a home.
No.
On your Colonial Village listing recently, there was a buyer that didn't have an agent and went through an attorney, and they submitted the contract and said, hey, listen, I'm not going to be represented. I hope that this was a first-time home buyer. I hope this will put me in better footing with the seller. Here's my offer. What'd you think of that offer?
No. Didn't work. What'd
you think of the contract?
The contract was awful. It wasn't the form we use. We use a form contract. Every contract is the same so that we're not having to read through all of these forms over and over again. So this was written by a lawyer who used his own form that was totally off base. The price was wrong. They were not even competing, and they're paying this person money to do so. Meanwhile, I have a commission set that's going to be paid to the buyer's agents for representing you, the buyer. Yeah. It's already out there. So why would you hire somebody else and pay them directly and not utilize what we're paying out?
So you're paying the buyer agent no matter what. And what they're doing is they're going outside of that, paying an attorney money out of their own pocket to negotiate a contract that they
they think, oh, I can get that 3% or whatever that percentage is being paid out in my benefit if I just don't use this buyer agent. But truthfully, what happens is you end up losing.
Yeah.
You write an awful contract, and it has no bearing in the market.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
What would you see as an advantage of not using a buyer's agent?
There's advantages to that? Okay, the only advantage that I could see is that if you were an experienced purchaser, you didn't have a real estate license, and you purchased many times before, and you say, hey, I know the process, I know how to do this, I don't need a buyer's agent, here it is, here's my offer.
Yeah.
That could be a benefit, right, if you have that knowledge. But let's face it, we have a combined 20-some years of knowledge in this business, and we know a lot more than you do that have bought or sold 5 or 6 places.
So in that scenario, let's say that someone has bought 10 houses before, and they're like, all right, I don't need a buyer's agent. I find, you ever get these people, I find the houses myself.
I like that accent.
I don't know where that came from. It's like a Woodbridge accent or something. I find the houses myself. Why do I need to pay 3%? So in this scenario, they find the house. They bought 10 houses before. So if they go without a buyer's agent, they're not going to have the professional representation. They're not going to have the negotiating skills. So actually, I think some buyers are better than some buyer's agents at negotiating. So I'm going to take back my word on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in what market is that a benefit where you can actually negotiate with the seller? Because, as a listing agent, I kind of like it when the buyer's unrepresented. You know why? Because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, you could totally take advantage of them. And, I had somebody years back who bought through me many times and then ended up not using me to purchase a house.
Yeah.
Right? And it hurts, but whatever. But I looked at, what they did, and he's like, well, I'm just going to take the money that you would have made, and I'll just,
right.
I could have gotten you such a better deal. You know what I mean? And that's the thing is, like, we're here to get you a deal. If it's that kind of market, we're here to give you our expertise on the market, do the comps, and try to get the best deal that we can. I could have got them a way better deal. Anyways.
No, I think I think you just made the biggest point about the buyer's agent, because the thing is, first of all, some people, they're just not going to use a buyer's agent. That's okay. I understand where you're coming from. But the thing about the buyer's agent is you don't pay any money out of pocket and you have professional representation. When someone doesn't want to use it, sometimes I think it's short-sighted because they're like, okay, well, I'm going to try to save $3,200 right now by not using a buyer's agent on this, $800,000 property. And you got to be thinking, like, open up your blinders a little bit, think big picture. So circling back to why we're doing this video, Redfin is going to be releasing this. I think it's called Redfin Direct. I'm going to be very intrigued because, I use the Redfin app all the time. I'm not like a Redfin basher, but what I have heard is sometimes they're not as good maybe at the hand-holding aspect of it, where people, they've never done this before. They've never bought a house. They need their hand held. And you can say, oh, well, use us and you'll save $3,000. Well, if they just made a $400,000 mistake in buying this house that maybe has like issues, what's $3,000 to them?
Exactly. Don't be sucked in by the saving money on the shiny little diamond that they're shining in front of you. Be wary of that and know that we are going to save you more money by representing your interests. That's it. That's the truth of it. I mean, I've seen this over and over again. And sometimes when I know it's an agent that doesn't really know, you can tell when there's an agent that doesn't know what they're doing. And you can tell when certain agencies, I'm not going to name them by name, but you can tell when they're representing their client, because it's usually an offer that is more than you would expect, or like they're not really representing their interests. They could have gotten a better deal, but they're not, because they just don't care. You're just a number.
Right.
And that's what you've got to remember. Is it better to be a number, or is it better to be represented by somebody that truly has your interests at hand?
Yeah.
Right? So, the thing about the Redfin Direct and where this is going is, like, they're almost pushing out the buyer's agent. So who does everybody represent? The seller. Yeah. So this is going back to the 1980s when everybody represented the seller and no one represented the buyer.
And what happened then?
And there were lawsuits and we needed buyer representation. So if you want to go that route, go for it. But I mean, I guarantee you that you'll get a better deal by using professionals that know the market first, know the market. It's all about the local market, right? So if you're just going in blindly and saying, hey, I'm going to buy this house, like you're moving to Virginia from wherever, and you're going to go on this Redfin Direct app and the algorithms are going to tell you what to write. We already know what the algorithms say. They're wrong, So just in valuations, right? So we see those kind of things. But be wary of it, man. You're going back in time where you're not having representation. That's never a good thing. Yeah,
I mean, life just comes full circle. So like you were saying in the 1980s, before my time, I'm a 90s baby, but there was only seller representation. Then what happened? Buyers were like, what the heck, man? I need some representation too. And now buyers get representation. And now people are like, well, wait a second. Why am I paying the buyer's agent this? I know what I'm doing. So I don't know. Maybe something has to happen in order for people to realize the agent's value. But I think in the book Freakonomics, they predicted the demise of the real estate agent like 20 years ago, and that still hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be a personal aspect of real estate. Right. It's a big purchase. So you're not buying a car, you're not buying a piece of furniture, you're buying a house. the biggest purchase of your life.
Yeah.
You need representation for a professional that knows what they're doing. It's like
Yeah.
you being in a lawsuit and going against a life sentence. Are you going to represent yourself?
Right.
Heck no, you're not. You're going to get the best person that you can that's going to have your interests in, and this is kind of the same aspect of it. $500,000, $1 million purchase, get a buyer's agent. There's all these shiny new tools that are going to be out there, but that's what they are, shiny new tools. And so we're always going to be here as people that communicate, that explain things to you, explain contracts. And another thing is every jurisdiction is different and laws change all the time.
Maryland.
So you go to Maryland,
Counties,
completely different counties, different, so many different laws per jurisdiction.
Yeah.
How are you, as somebody coming from California or wherever you're coming from, and you say, I'm just going to use this direct app?
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting yourself into big trouble. I think that's my personal opinion. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
what I'd kind of like to be a fly on the wall for is if this goes through and there's like
a lawsuit that comes.
The lawsuit, but the multiple offers, like let's say 5 first-time home buyers are all in a competitive offer situation and none of them are represented. Could you just imagine how terrible those contracts would be? In this Facebook group that I'm on, some agent posted today, like, I got 7 offers on my listing and one agent from like Manassas or something in this competitive offer situation. All the offers were close, but one was like 20,000 below the other offers. So like, if
not a local person,
this is the biggest financial decision of your life, and you want to do it yourself and you've never done it before and there's no money charged to you, just
use a buyer's agent.
I think there's a different conversation for how much the selling brokerage pays the buyer brokerage, but I'm very intrigued by Redfin Direct, where a lot of first-time home buyers use Redfin because it's like millennials, it's the apps. So I'm very intrigued by Redfin Direct.
Me too. I wonder how, Redfin's a great tool, but I think pulling out representation for people is a disaster, personally, and I'm saying lawsuit. So just watch yourself when you're writing these contracts.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Cool. Oh, you didn't have my interest in, I thought you had my interests in mind, but you were only representing the seller and you took advantage of me.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen. Something has to happen. Cool. Well, that just about does it. Sean's getting a call. Oh, it's Mom.
Yeah. Hey, Mom. I thought you were watching me on Instagram, Mom.
You just hung up on Mom.
Oops. Don't tell her.
Hopefully she doesn't watch this. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. For Sean and for myself, we'll see you in the next one.
Take care.
See ya.